I'm Hayley.
I'm Kat.
And this is Day Trashy, the radio show where two lawyers get super crazy, drink apple juice, and sit here and stare at each other silently. What are we drinking, Hayley?
We're drinking apple juice. It's red.
Happy April Fool's Day, everybody. Yeah, we got you.
But we are drinking grape juice.
Yes.
It's alcohol now. I forgot the word fermented.
Fermented, aged.
Yes.
Old.
Fine apple grape juice. Yeah, grape. Just kidding. But it is 19 Crimes. This is one of my favorite lines of wine. It's a Cali Red. It has Snoop Dogg on the cover. I've seen this in the stores many times, but I knew when I saw it at High Point Grocery that this was the time that I had to try Cali Red by 19 Crimes.
You told me that you wanted to drink the Snoop Dogg wine tonight, and I didn't know what you were talking about. Yeah,
I can't believe you
Snoop Dogg has a wine? Yes. He does.
Yes. I think there are a lot of surprising things about Snoop Dogg.
Oh, he's a man of many trades. He does
magical.
Yeah, he's got a lot going on for him.
Including being on this wine, which is great. It's 14.1%. It's $12.99 at High Point Grocery here in Memphis, Tennessee. What? They also just expanded their produce section, which is amazing. It's beautiful. I don't know if anyone else cares about that, but I've been really into adult things this week. I got a food processor. I got an air fryer.
Oh, you've got a food processor? I'm excited about that. It's time to make salsa.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I made some good avocado sauce. But anyway, I feel like I'm getting really excited about adult things. And one of those things is a good place to shop at.
Yeah.
For your groceries or just a quick stop for a pint or a gallon of ice cream.
Oh my gosh. And good produce is underrated, especially like in a landlocked state. It can be hard to come by, but High Point's got it down.
You don't know what you got till it's gone.
Yes, that is true.
And you don't always have fresh apples. I don't want to hear you complaining about all these dirty apples, or they're not dirty. You don't know dirty apples. I don't even know what I'm talking about.
I have bitched a lot about the apples in Tennessee. I think that's the reference because I'm from Washington State, the mecca of apples, and they just don't stack up here. But I guess I got to check out the apples at High Point. Maybe they got it going on.
You should. If you also want to check out the apples, amongst other things, at High Point, you can at 469 High Point Terrace in Memphis, Tennessee.
Yes. So thank you, High Point. And again, that wine is 19 Crimes, Cali Red. Well, it's spring break.
Yes, it doesn't feel like it, though. It hasn't set in yet. I think I'll know when Monday morning comes around and I don't have to be up at my school time.
But you will have to be up.
I will have to be up.
We're leaving on a road trip early in the a.m.
We're hitting the road like a herd of turtles, I'm sure. The plan's going to be to leave at like 7. We're going to be out the door at like 9.
Oh, yeah, if 9. We're like the 4 slowest people on the planet. Well, maybe, I don't know. Tommy seems like he'll be ready.
Tommy will be full-fledged ready. Tommy wakes up at like 5 a.m. without an alarm.
That's unbelievable. And I'm still not convinced that he's a real person.
It makes me question who he is.
I mean, I don't want to call your boyfriend a psychopath, but I think he might be.
I don't want to call him a murderer, but he's definitely murdered. No, I'm just kidding.
What other kind of person wakes up naturally at 5 a.m.?
Not I.
He
talks about how he lives a whole day before I wake up. And I'm like... I'm like, well, I sleep the whole night while you're just there being awake, you freak.
Oh my God. Well, we're also all vaccinated. I'm double vaxxed. You're double vaxxed. He, she, wumbo, double vaxxed. The boys are vaxxed. We're going on a trip and we are re-entering into society. Hayley and I tomorrow.
Hi, society. Girls' night. We haven't had a girls' night in over a year. Easily over a year.
Yeah.
We literally have been doing our hair this week.
Oh my God. We've been trying.
Drastic changes, whether we wanted to or not.
We both accidentally bought the same hair dye that was it was labeled as like medium chestnut brown.
Yeah.
And then you put it on your hair and it's straight up black.
I have a black, like, we're not overreacting. My robe is black. My hair matched.
Yeah.
That. Not only that, but I ran out of dye. So right now I kind of look like a double-decker bus, or the underneath layer is black, but the top is like light brown.
You look like that trend in like 2001 when girls would have like black hair with like chunky blonde highlights. You don't have chunky blonde highlights, but there is a dark layer and a light layer.
It's close enough. I did get to dye my clip-ins though, so I'm going to go tomorrow to Sally's, get some more and dye the top half so that when we do go out, I don't get any crazy looks, hopefully.
Yeah. You told me last night, we were texting and she told me that like the underneath of her hair is black and the rest is light brown. And I was going to call you a burnt s'more looking ass. And then I got scared that would sound mean over text. So I never sent it.
Well, I'm glad you're telling me that now. I would never think that was mean.
I know. I was just tired and overthinking it.
Oh my gosh. A burnt s'more looking ass. Yeah, that's seriously what it looks like right now.
Yeah.
I can't believe this was a trend. But your hair looks amazing. You dyed your hair. Your hair is dark.
Yeah, my hair is dark, which makes me look very pale, but it's not too bad. I mean, I love black hair, but just not on me. It doesn't sit right on my skin, so I've been scrubbing it with clarifying shampoo. She's slowly getting lighter, I like to think, but it's still looking good. I bought some big ass extensions. I'm ready to go hard on girls' night. Can't wait.
Yeah, I went shopping this week. I got a new skirt I'm going to wear tomorrow.
Ooh,
I'm excited.
I got a new outfit too. It's gonna be fun, you guys. I can't wait. We're probably gonna like go live on Instagram.
We're so fucking extra. Like, I never thought of myself as an extra person.
Okay, we haven't been out in a year.
I know. We should wear the crowns.
I forgot. We are extra. We bought sashes, like, what do you call it? Bachelorette party sashes, but they're blank. And we also bought puffy paint, and we're going to write vaccinated on our sashes and then go get super drunk on Beale Street and go to the club and probably dance on the bar at Coyote Ugly.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. I'm going to have to wear my Spanx just in case no one sees my lady bits, because it's going to be a night.
It's going to be a night. I can't wait. Alec and Tommy are going to the movies, I think.
You guys are?
Well, I said I was going to go to the movies, and I still need to invite Tommy.
Oh, he'll definitely go.
I didn't know if he had a show or not.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't.
Okay, cool. So I think they're playing The Lord of the Rings, so I was like...
Oh,
he's going to be like... He's going to be like panting.
Yeah.
So the boys are having a fun date night, and we're having a fun...
Date night
also, yeah.
I also wanted to say, when she was talking about dyeing her hair last night and you were dyeing your hair, I meant to say Brad Mondo, but I called him Tad Turbo.
First you called him Johnny Bravo, and then you called him Tad Turbo.
Okay, honestly, his alter ego should be called Tad Turbo, because that's excellent. And I looked up, I had already watched this Brad Mondo video, but I watched it again before I dyed my hair. And it still didn't help me pick out the color.
Well, what did he say about picking a color?
He just talked about like toning it, and like he talked about just dyeing your hair at home. And I thought I knew what I needed, but apparently I don't know what I need, or apparently this.
Yeah, I feel like this particular brand of dye, I've bought it so many times and it always turns out black when I wanted brown, and I've never learned my lesson. I think it's just the brand.
Oh, well.
We're
going to be twinning.
We're going to be, yeah. We're both going to have black hair with our big ass extensions on our pasty white faces. It's going to be amazing.
Yep. My hair will be super curly, and I'm guessing yours will be like waves.
Yeah,
so
that'll be
the one distinction that we can rely on.
It's like when there's like two female characters in a TV show, they have to have different hair.
Yeah,
they're like the same everywhere
slightly,
else.
Yeah. They don't even write different lines. It's just actually one person, and they just split the lines.
For real. Or we always get told we look like sisters like every time we go out, and that might just be like a tactic to like start a conversation with us, because I don't think we look that alike, but we get it all the time. So I feel like especially with our dark hair.
Yeah, tomorrow we're going to be like not identical twins, fraternal twins.
Yes. In our sashes,
So
in our new
extra.
outfits with our hair extensions, looking very extra.
I can't tell if I was an extra person before I met you, or if you just bring it out of me.
You're welcome.
I think you just bring it out.
I think I brought it out. I'm going to take credit for this.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. I just have a few plugs. So by the time this comes out, our March substitute episode will be out, and we recorded with the incredible Dicey. She is a listener of this show and a witch, and she taught us a fun witchy lesson. So if you're a Patreon, look out for that.
Yeah, it was so applicable to the times that we're in.
It really was. She talked about like the wheel of the world and how like a big event happens every so often and there's like a rhythm to things. It was a very cool lesson.
Big picture, which I'm really bad at thinking about. It was a good lesson.
Yeah, it was good. So check that out. Also, if you're a Patreon, check your mail because we will have sent you a gift for being our Patreon in the first year. And if you hear this and then a couple weeks pass and you haven't gotten your gift, please reach out. Let us know. Mail tends to get lost, so we want you to have your gift. So let us know. We have some extras we can always send.
Yep. They're great. It's real cute. Well, I don't want to give.
I thought you were going to say it's real.
Don't let anyone lie to you. It's real. When you open up the envelope, it might seem like it's empty, but it's full of love.
Yeah, you just have to dig your hand in there around.
Right,
a little
just
bit,
reach
find
out.
it.
Not too deep.
Yeah, not too aggressively. You might get poked.
Don't get.
All right. Do you have anything else?
No, this week has been really low key.
Yeah, me too. Very low key. Pretty good. All right. Well, we breathalyzed.
Yeah, we did. Oh. I'm sorry. Alec gave us the hurry
Well,
up.
I thought you guys were going to go
panicked.
into how low key your weeks were. I'm like, oh, no.
Daddy's not having this.
Right. I don't want to get, please don't, whatever you're about to do, don't hurt me.
Yeah, we like flinch like he's gonna hit us. Before, Hayley and I always impulsively want to like hint to each other at what our lessons are. Well, that's a lie. I always try to get out of Hayley what her lesson is.
Yeah, I'm a good child about this, okay?
You are a good child. You're the Ariana Grande and I'm the Sam, whatever her name is.
I have
The
no
one
idea.
who played Sam on iCarly. I don't know. There was a whole like good girl, bad girl dichotomy.
You're definitely the bad girl. Seriously, Claudia Severa, your alter ego. You're bad gal, Katya.
Okay. Well, I just don't like surprises. I always want to know. So I try to make Hayley tell me what she has. And Alec gets super mad and then tells us we're not allowed to talk to each other until we start recording because he's our mean stage mom.
Yeah,
Well,
and when it gets really bad, he locks us in 2 separate rooms for the whole week.
Rooms, sometimes it's a closet.
You get a closet?
Uh-huh.
I've never gotten a closet.
And he slides squares of American cheese under the door.
He slides fruit roll-ups inch by inch.
And he says, that's showbiz, baby.
This is a night classy story.
Yeah, this is an April Fool's joke.
Well, can I give my side of the story?
Yeah.
No.
Because for the audience listening at home, these girls will come in here and they haven't seen each other in a couple days and they will talk and talk and talk. And then when we press record, they're like, well, I can't really think of anything to say. So I'm like, you guys, save the talking for on the air.
Oh my God, that's not even true. We talk
It's
on the
100% true.
Okay. Well,
Hair flip, long extension hair flip. Also, you called us girls. We are not girls.
I'm a woman.
Whoa, man.
Whoa,
You need
man.
to back up.
Well, I'm a stage daddy, not mom.
All right, Tad Turbo.
What if
Curly boy.
Yeah, I do the curly girl method. So I am a curly boy.
You need to write a book called The Curly Boy.
Yeah, you do. And it needs
A memoir.
It should be like your diary, your hair diary. Like, well, today was a bit humid. The frizz was out of control, but tomorrow's a new day.
I used a dime-sized amount of gel today. I think tomorrow I'll use a penny.
Right, yeah. And you have like a Polaroid and you put pictures of your hair in it each day. That would actually be legit. I need to start doing that, actually.
Yeah, maybe you need to TikTok your hair journey.
Yeah,
Jump on the trend.
Maybe I
I've been
should.
getting curly girl TikToks lately, I think from osmosis from you.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I talk about my curly hair constantly, pretty much, and you're around me
I'm
a
around
lot of the
you,
time.
and then I'm telling Alec he needs to follow the curly girl method.
Right. It'll change your life. If your hair is not pinned straight, just look up the curly girl method. Try it. Do yourself a favor.
I'm tempted to try it on my hair that is straight and see what happens.
Your hair does have some texture to it, though.
It does. If I let it air dry, it's
Yeah.
like slightly wavy.
Exactly.
But when I let it air dry, there's no volume. Like it's just like flat on my head and gets greasy. So I don't like to do that.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why it's so hard to go into the curly girl method, because like when I started, my hair was fried. Again, it had no volume, almost no definition. So it's a process. It's a journey.
It's a process. All right. Well, I blew a point 0.017.
I blew a .069.
So she's fucking wasted. And let's go.
I can't drive. All right. Are you ready for this? The big reveal.
I'm excited. You told me I might know about this.
I don't know if you would know. I mean, you might know about everything. But anyway.
I do. Just kidding. I don't. I know about nothing.
I mean, kind of. You listen to a lot of podcasts. Well, anyway, let's get into it. Our learning journey today brings us to July 1951 in St. Petersburg, Florida.
Oh, hey.
Hey.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if that's where
Yeah, Eckerd.
Eckerd.
That's where I went to
yes.
college, folks.
I almost said Rikers or what it was.
The prison.
The prison.
Yeah.
Went to Rikers Island for my liberal
your
arts degree. Yeah.
You might learn more in there than you would at Eckerd.
Excuse me?
Well, anyway, Mary Reeser is visiting with her son, and she is an older lady. She's been popping some pills. She's just trying to relax, But actually, she's not actually just trying to relax. She's just trying to sleep, though. She did take 2 Seconal tablets. These are used to mildly sedate patients before surgery. So it's not like the thing that's going to knock you out, but it's the thing that's going to make you not care as much.
Make you feel good.
Yeah.
Okay, Mary. What's her name?
Mary Reeser.
Okay, Mary.
Every time I typed her name, I thought about Reese's peanut butter cups.
Ooh, I could use a Reese's peanut butter cup.
Me too. Oh, that'd be so good.
I have a shit ton of candy at home. We can go balls to the walls.
Oh, we're going to. This weekend is this whole week, spring break.
Oh my God, spring break and road trip snacks.
This is
Best
why
part of a road
I
trip.
became a teacher. We need to get chocolate covered pretzels.
Ooh, yeah. And peanut butter filled pretzels.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. Some Gatorade to wash it down.
Oh, yeah.
I
Gatorade.
never crave Gatorade, but something about road trips.
Yeah, you got to have a Gatorade and I like a good Diet Coke on a road trip. You got to get a little hit of caffeine, wash it down with some Gatorade and Pringles.
We're stopping at Starbucks on the rollout.
Yes,
it's going to be like a whole thing, us getting into the car, and then we're going to pull up 2 minutes later to the Starbucks right by our house.
Because there's probably no Starbucks from Memphis to where we're going.
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely not.
For sure not.
We're driving through rural Arkansas, ma'am.
Yeah, we're going to need to fill up the gas tank because who knows what's going to be in between.
Ooh,
oh my God, what if this is the beginning of a horror movie?
It kind of, it is. We're all piling into my car and going to a haunted hotel.
Y'all, stay tuned. Go on over to Patreon because we're going to have content.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to Mary Reeser. So she's visiting with her son. She's already taken 2 of these tablets. And Mary's like, I might take 2 more before I go to bed. She's trying to get that good sleep. She did not have a prescription to this medication, but everything was fine. Her son was a doctor. And he's like, all right, Ma, just remember, drink some water, try and get a good night's rest. I'll see you tomorrow. And he leaves. He did not see her tomorrow. Later that evening, Mary was kicking back in her recliner.
I know what this is.
You do?
Is it spontaneous human confession?
Yes, it is. Oh, okay, I thought it seemed like something you might know about.
Yes. I actually love this topic and want to hear more because I was just thinking about it the other day and the podcast I listened to this about I haven't heard that episode for 2 years and I was thinking maybe I'll go back and listen to it again so I can relearn.
Ooh, wow.
So this is good.
Hopefully you do relearn. Yeah, we are talking about, spoiler alert, spontaneous human combustion, which is about what's going to happen to Mary. She kicks back in her recliner and she falls asleep, a tale as old as time. And the next morning at 5 a.m., Mary's landlord reported later that she smelled smoke. Not a great sign, but she goes on with her life and her day nonetheless. And then she smells the smoke again at 8 a.m. when she's actually on her way to deliver a telegram to Mary. And she smells the smoke and she's like, smell smoke once, shame on you. Smells smoke twice, shame on me. I'm going to actually call 911. So she decides to investigate. And when she goes up to Mary's door, there's soot all in the hallway. And when she reaches for Mary's doorknob, it's too hot to touch. So that's a bad sign.
Yeah, that's not good. Also, nobody else on the floor reported anything.
No.
That's weird.
We'll later talk about the neighbors. They were like, there have been no signs of anything weird going on. No smells, no no noises.
That's crazy.
I know.
Aliens. It's the only
For sure
explanation.
aliens, but also maybe some science, but we'll get to that.
No.
So the landlady goes to get some nearby painters to help her break into Mary's apartment. And what they found is definitely not great. Mary's cremated remains were there in a pile near the recliner. And in this pile of her ashes was her skull that was still intact, but it had shrunk to the size of a cup.
See, I'm still convinced that this is fake because that can't happen.
Right? Like it explodes. So,
Yeah.
or it gets like bigger.
Bones don't shrink.
That part might be fake. Who knows? But several sources cited it as having shrunk.
It makes no sense.
Maybe it was a typo.
No, I think that's what they say happened, but how and what?
And what? Yeah, we don't know. The only other part of her body that was left unscathed by the fire was parts of her spine, and her left foot was still intact with her black slipper on, and the skin wasn't burnt. The rest of her was completely transformed into ashes, like she had been cremated. So,
And even if you lit a person on fire, they wouldn't burn enough to be ashes.
exactly.
That takes an insane amount of heat.
For a body to be cremated, it has to stay at least 3,000 degrees for at least 3 hours. Your neighbors would definitely notice, right? And the fire would definitely spread if you were 3,000 degrees.
Yeah, which is why it's aliens. One of them sent a beam down or something.
I don't know what she did, but she's paying for it. And it was so crazy because looking around her apartment, you never would have even guessed it. The chair was kind of burnt, but not really. And the rest of her apartment was generally fine, except for there was some soot on the ceiling above her body, and then a few of the electrical outlet covers around where she was from hip height up, not the lower ones. I guess she had some I don't know, maybe she was near the kitchen or something where they had some near the counter, but none of the ones near the floor had melted, only the ones that were on a higher level. So probably the light switches. And then there were also some candles that were on a windowsill, tall candles that all of the wax had melted, but the wick was completely straight up.
What the fuck? No.
Yes. Also, okay, this is weird. There was a stack of newspapers sitting near her cremated remains, and they were completely unharmed. So they were confused.
Yeah.
Here's a picture of them in her house.
Okay. Yeah, it's just rubble. But yeah, you're right. All the stuff in the kitchen is still standing. The drapes that are a few feet away are just fine. And there's just a pile of ash.
Mm-hmm.
And it's two old-timey guys sifting through it with a rake or something.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So the firefighters are on the scene and they're shocked by the heat in the apartment. And like I said before, Mary's neighbors, they're surprised to find out that anything even happened to her at all. They had no idea, no inkling that there was even anything going on. And the investigators sent samples of the chair, the rug, debris from her house, and smoke, which how do you send smoke samples? I don't really know.
Catch it in a jar. I don't know.
Is it like the soot on the wall?
Like I think if you did like a Q-tip on the ceiling.
Okay, I imagined them like jellyfishing. Like they have a jar and just like catch it.
Oh my gosh, what if that's how like people smoked weed? Was it there was just like a few main weed smokers and then like the drug dealers were the ones who like caught the smoke and then like sold
dealt
it
the
to
smoke. Oh my, that sounds like something like a middle schooler would do. Like you want to buy some weed smoke.
Yeah, it'll get you ripped.
Yeah.
Well, the FBI actually knows how to do it, and they did it. But they didn't find any combustibles, but they did find melted fat in the rug.
Ugh.
Yeah. So they're like, what the fuck? And the company who made the chair came forward and they were like, that chair right there, it was designed not to catch fire easily. Like even if a flame did come near it, the chair would just smolder for a while. It's really good under pressure. It's not going to catch fire.
Was the chair dust?
The chair was just kind of affected, not
Okay.
really. And they were also able to rule out in their investigation, they were able to rule out any fire caused by electrical issues. So they knew it wasn't that. And someone reported that they did see Mary smoking a cigarette in the chair that night. But after months of investigation and no really solid reasons as to why Mary had died, the FBI and police just decided to land on the theory that Mary fell asleep while smoking a cigarette and she caught on fire and that's how she died.
No.
Not everyone, just like you, believed this kind of sweep it under the rug style explanation.
Yeah, what the fuck? If I literally like created a funeral pyre like over her filled with hay and sticks and lit it on fire, it wouldn't create these results.
Yeah, it
Like
takes a lot.
Cigarette
like
is not.
You would need so much wood to like burn a body. Like your body is 70% water.
Yeah. There's
So
no way.
People are like, no. They believe that she did experience this term called spontaneous human combustion. If you've never heard of this, then let me help you. Spontaneous human combustion is when a person dies from fire without a clear source of exactly how they caught fire. It seems like the human body burst into flames from the inside out almost. If you were to picture this, especially in Mary's example, you might just picture a chair, like a recliner chair, and then on it is just the outline, like a charred outline of a human body. Like that's what you'll get when you Google spontaneous human combustion. And spontaneous human combustion is well documented in fiction novels, but in reality, there are over 200 reported cases in real life too.
200?
Over 200.
I thought there were like 3.
No, there are so many.
Dang.
And they go way back. They all have some really strange circumstances, including the fact that there seems to be no source of ignition. The victims are always killed until like recently. I think one guy survived.
What?
They're always killed, and they seem to make no attempt to escape being on fire. Like, stop, drop, and roll. Like it doesn't go like that. That's not what happens in spontaneous human combustion.
Yeah.
And the last strange circumstance is that the furniture and surroundings of the victim are not burnt. So it's just some really weird stuff going on. So you were shocked to find out that there were 200 cases of spontaneous human combustion. The earliest documented case that I could find was in a book from 1613. It's called De Historia Medica Mirabili by Marcellus Donatus. And the text tells us of an even earlier text. So this is like a game of fucking telephone here, but it tells us about a book that was published in 1520 by Albert Krantz called Historia Saxonica. And it tells us about a time during the Christian War, which is estimated to be around 1096 to 1099, where people in Ninoram and other sources call it a different city. It's questionable.
The name of the city probably changed a bunch of times. So
Probably.
yeah.
But these people in the city were burning with invisible fire in their bodies. And there are many of them that have theorized that these people who are burning cut off one of their limbs to stop the burning from spreading.
Huh.
So that's the earliest one I could find.
That just sounds like an infection.
It does.
Like when I got an infection, my like ankle felt like it was burning, and you can help an infection by cutting it off.
Yeah, but the part of them that wasn't burnt was the part that was cut off.
Oh, they like burnt, like they looked burnt.
Just like Mary, like her foot was the one limb that survived the fire.
Survived.
Yeah, and the rest of her burnt.
Wait, so they were burning up.
They burning
cut
up.
off a foot, and then so we think Mary cut off her foot.
We don't necessarily think that, but we think that they thought that in like the thousands.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, that was their interpretation of it.
Okay.
Because Mary was burnt.
That bitch was burnt.
Yeah. She was left in several minutes too long. 100% minutes too long. This is actually very sad that this happened to this woman, but
Yes, we're so sad.
yes, spontaneous human sadness. Do you want to hear another case?
Yeah.
In 1468, there was a knight by the name Paulinus Vortius, and the tale / story / reality goes that he drank 2 ladies of wine, which means glasses. He drank 2 glasses.
Can we call our wine glasses ladies?
Yeah, I think we should from now
we
on.
should definitely do it.
I'm about to have another lady. But anyway, he drank 2 ladies of wine, and then later in the night, he vomited fire before being a victim of spontaneous human combustion.
I mean, that's how I feel when I eat Chipotle and then go out.
Yeah, exactly.
vomiting fire.
That's literally what it's like to throw up Chipotle.
That shit burns.
Yeah, you don't want it. Like, that's the thing about Chipotle, not to get too graphic here, but
When have we not gotten too graphic when talking about Chipotle?
right. Buckle up then, because I'm about to tell you that when you eat Chipotle, you don't chew the food like you think you do. When you throw it up, you're going to see whole beans.
Oh, whole beans, whole corn,
And it's
whole
gonna-
chunks of tomato, some onion, rice.
A whole chip with the queso still on it.
Yeah, I don't even really, do I even chew my
I just
Chipotle?
inhale it.
Now I'm wondering, yeah, I think I just swallow that shit.
That's what I need my food processor for, really.
Chipotle smoothie.
Yum.
Maybe that's why it makes me sick is I'm not chewing it.
Oh my God, we just cracked the code. It's not the E. coli.
It's like our failure to mix it with the amylase. Is that the chemical that starts breaking down your food in your mouth?
I don't know. You sounded really
That's-
smart saying that, though.
That 7th grade science coming through.
Wow. All I remember about 7th grade science is making a clay version of a cell.
Ooh, we made
Yeah.
candy cells.
Oh.
It was pretty fun.
Wow. That's freaking dope.
Yeah, it was dope. And then we got to eat them.
You didn't get sick off that candy?
No, I chewed it.
You chewed it. Okay, good. Just checking, just checking. So what happens? How do we make sure we don't throw up anything that we drink, like ladies of wine?
How do we make sure we don't throw it up?
Yeah, we don't chew liquid, right?
Oh,
Is it
you're right. There might be a hole in my line of reasoning.
it's It just applies to Chipotle only.
Yeah,
it's fine.
yeah, just Chipotle.
Right. It's like the law of gravity. It's the law of Chipotle.
The law of Chipotle is it's going to be really good and then you're going to get sick no matter what.
Yeah, that seems to hold true with me. Yeah, it goes in great.
Comes out not great.
Not great. Not great. Okay. Well, anyway, in 1731, a member of Italy's royal family named Cornelia de Band.
Cornelia de Band. Cornelia de Bands on bands on bands.
Money, money, money. That's what I hear when I hear bands. Because it's like I'm translating the term. Because that's what bands means. Is like money,
so I said
right?
bands on like bands of dollar bills.
Yeah, I know. And then like you're saying that and that's the input. And then my old brain is like, that's money. That's money, Hayley. That's what happened just there.
Maybe we should hit the strip club tomorrow.
I've never been to a strip club.
I've actually never been to a strip club either.
That seems like something we would do together.
I know. Let's do it. Let's go.
I'm kind of scared.
Why?
I don't know why. It's because I've never done it. Fear of the
Yeah,
unknown.
that's true. I feel like I need to go to a strip club for the first time with someone who like enjoys strip clubs.
Yeah, I
So I have some direction.
a lay of the land.
Yeah.
Do we know
Need some
anyone who
help.
enjoys strip clubs?
I don't.
I don't know if I do or not. Well, stay tuned, everyone, because we want to go to a strip club. If you want to come help us with that, then let us know. Anyway, so Cornelia de Bands on Bands, aka Money, was found in a pile of ashes. Not in a pile of ashes, but she was found as a pile of ashes next to her bed.
She was literally the pile of ashes.
She felt like shit.
And then I show up with my bands and snort up her ashes. Oops.
It's a tale as old as time, ladies and gentlemen. Nothing else in the room was burnt, but there was this nasty, oily substance splattered all on the walls.
Ew.
The best explanation at the time was that a lightning bolt struck her and her only, like it was sent just for her.
I mean, that's a
Bam.
pretty good, that's a better explanation than her cigarette caught her on fire, I think.
I guess so. But I feel like there was also a like, and we'll see here, like, especially in Victorian times, one of the reasons that they attributed to spontaneous human combustion, those words just get jumbled up in my head anyway, was because it was like God sent lightning bolts for people.
Maybe it is God.
Maybe it
He
is.
just wants you to die.
Sky Daddy, if you're listening, we have questions.
Sky Daddy, if you're listening, I volunteer to be human combusted in front of Hayley so she can observe the process and tell the world what happens.
But not until we've made that money on this podcast.
Yeah, I can hang on until then.
God is like a genie and he just does it right now while we're recording. Careful what you wish for, bitch.
Ooh, my foot hurts.
Oh, no, cut it off.
I do keep like touching this power strip with my foot and it's really hot and it makes me feel like I'm being human combusted.
That's probably exactly what it feels like. Wow, you're
Probably.
so good at relating.
Crazy how good I am.
Okay, I have one more case before we get into some of the science of it. So the most recent case of spontaneous human combustion was in 2017 in London. A man named John Nolan was walking down the street and witnesses report that suddenly he was on fire. They can't find any witnesses for the time that he actually caught fire. But there are tons of people who are like, yeah, I saw him before walking down the street. And there are a ton of people who say, yeah, I saw him after he was on fire on the street. But there are no people who can say they were there and saw him right when he caught on fire. He was an older gentleman and he was already sickly. So unfortunately, he did not survive. But it seems unlikely that he just caught fire all of a sudden, and it remains a mystery to this day.
Yeah. Was he wearing glasses?
I don't know. Like the sun.
Like the
just,
sun? I don't know.
Wouldn't that be way more common though?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I feel like
I
there are
don't know.
safeguards against that. Some people speculate that he had a lighter that maybe he was unfamiliar with, or that a spark or something hit him. But for your whole body to be like completely engulfed in flames,
Yeah.
that's a bit much.
Yeah, that's a lot much.
It's a lot much. And whether you combust in the early thousands or in 2017, there's an article by AAPI in Medical Jurisprudence that highlights some of the commonalities, again, between spontaneous human combustion. In my notes, I tried to make this funny. I don't know if this is funny or not. But it's one of those jokes where you're like, if you are a chronic alcoholic, you might have been spontaneously human combusted.
I was with you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see.
There is a trend with people who spontaneously humanly combust that they do suffer from alcoholism. And some doctors in the Victorian era thought that spontaneous human combustion was a side effect of alcoholism. They were like, wow, God just hates you. So you're on fire now, I guess, you fucking sinner.
I mean, of all the things to be mad at someone for, of all the things.
Right. Like, God, who made me an alcoholic? Really?
Right.
You need to look in the mirror.
Yeah, I need you to do some introspection and come back to me.
You need to journal about it.
If I am made in the image of God, then God's an alcoholic.
I love that logic. I think I need that on a t-shirt.
There you go. Slap it on there.
Okay, another trait is being an elderly female. Since alcoholism and being a female, and a lot of these females also tended to be quote unquote overweight, the general population saw spontaneous human combustion as what people got, like what they deserved for living such an immoral lifestyle. Like I said,
First of all, you're a female.
how dare you?
That darn Eve.
That darn Eve. Always making trouble for the men. Jeez Louise. Oh boy.
I like being the OG sinner. I think it's a cool badge of honor.
I think so too. I think that's why I feel so connected to snakes.
Yeah. We should get a snake.
We should. Let's just keep it in the guest room. Keep it in my bathtub.
Oh, like a python.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big boy.
Big boy snake. Big daddy.
What if one of the cats got eaten though?
But what if one of the cats became friends with it and they snuggled together?
Like a feat of nature.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like your tiger and the
pigs.
pig video.
You thought I was crazy for that.
No, yeah, right. I
You
thought you were
did.
crazy and then you showed it to me and you were right.
Yeah. Freaking trying to show you spontaneous. I keep trying to say subcutaneous human combustion, which is way harder than spontaneous human combustion.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I guess it's kind of the same. Subcutaneous.
What's subcutaneous?
Under the skin.
Oh, okay.
Okay, let me just keep going. Okay. Okay, so this whole idea that, being a female who's subcutaneously combusting is immoral and that you get what you deserve and you're also an alcoholic and that you get what you deserve. Like, therapy was not a thing back then. Psychology is a very new medicine. Anyway, the idea was reinforced by newspaper articles that really pushed the idea that these people were just soaked in alcohol. And because of this, they were highly flammable. And then boom, before you know it, they were spontaneously combusting.
You're just dumping alcohol on their faces and licking it up.
Yeah, they're trying to get alcohol into their system any way they can, including through their fucking skin.
Through osmosis. They're just swimming in pools of alcohol. Is this how you do it?
Every night they put a bottle underneath their pillow and try to just soak it up that way. That's how I studied. Just kidding.
They're like washing their hair in wine wine.
Oh my God. Yeah, they're bathing in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what they thought. Fact checking alcohol or being covered in it does not necessarily make you more flammable. And then in 1970, there was a popular explanation that being in a depressed state could cause a person to be engulfed in flames.
Wow.
That's literally just it. Like that was in the 70s. People were like, well, if you're depressed, you could just
catch on fire.
Yeah. Like
what?
What the fuck? What kind of
I feel like if anything, you would freeze. I don't know. I feel like the temperature for depression is cold. As someone who has depression.
Oh, I thought you were saying once you caught on fire, you would just freeze.
No,
and not stop, drop, or roll.
I feel like if someone was to like die of hypothermia spontaneously, I don't know.
I would think turning to rock because in my experience with depression, it's just like I don't want to move or to do anything.
Yeah, I think that's where my
frozen
went.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. Rock would be good. Like that disease, like what do they call it? Dragon scale in Game of Thrones.
Yes. Yeah. I think maybe they were depressed.
I mean, they turned into like a crazy rock animal.
Oh my God.
Jumping around on cliffs.
That might be kind of cool though. That's the cure to depression.
God, I wish.
And also I just want to clarify, there's no like single clear perfect cure to depression.
Of course
and it
not.
is not dragon skin.
Alec found out that like it helps your depression to take cold showers.
Really?
And so I always joke that like he's cured his depression and I'm gonna like go flush his meds. Which is like obviously like not ever an acceptable thing to do, which is why it's a joke.
But yeah, big joke. Okay,
Yeah.
Jokey joke, please.
Right. But
I will say though, it seems to help. In addition to medication, it seems to help.
Her joking seems to help.
Freezing cold showers, guys, try it out.
Yeah, I mean, I know it definitely helps. Like it helps make me feel awake and alive. So I can imagine that would help. I mean, maybe that's just my depression lifting.
And like part of it is that Alec was telling me that it like trains you to like do something you don't want to do. Like you don't want to turn on the cold water. So it's like an exercise of like fighting against that urge not to do anything. So it like helps you like do things when you don't want to do them when you're depressed.
Yeah. And that's really, really hard to do.
Mm-hmm.
Even just like putting new clothes on for the day.
Oh,
can be
yeah.
hard. Like just showering can be hard.
The list goes on and on and on.
Right. So if you're at the stage where you want to take a cold shower, then Alec approves.
Yeah, try it out.
But if you're listening to this podcast right now and you want to know more about spontaneous human combustion, let me finish up with these commonalities in these cases. A lot of these people came into contact with a lit substance. A lot of them burnt and their hands and feet fell off. But a lot of them, one of their limbs didn't fall off. Another commonality is that their body, I already covered that. Your body's completely burnt, but everything else around you is undamaged. And then the last one is that there's this residue all around, this like greasy feel to it and look to it with these ashes and obviously a rank odor. It's not good.
Yeah, that is disgusting.
So let's dig into the science behind spontaneous human combustion and then some alternative theories. Okay, number one, we have to understand how fire works, which can be hard to do.
Yeah, I don't understand how fire works.
I don't fully understand it. I don't even know what fire is.
I still don't know what electricity is.
We're never gonna know.
It's impossible to know.
It's like, it's funny how two uncorrelated things like help me explain things. I'm like, it's like witchcraft. I don't understand electricity.
Some things are just magic.
Yeah.
And I think people like to pretend they understand, but they don't.
Yeah. It's like my conscious human state. Like I don't understand it, but here we are.
And if anyone tries to tweet at us or DM us how electricity or fire works, fuck you. I don't care. Don't do it.
Don't waste your time, honestly. Like, you're just wasting. Like, not only do I not want to know, but I just know I'm not going to know.
Yeah, and I feel like I came off really strong there saying fuck you because I'm all about education and sure, like, educate us, but also I kind of like not knowing.
I feel like it just came from a spot of knowing that it's really hard to understand. Like, if people like Nikola Tesla freaking invented alternating currents, which shout out to me for remembering that term. But secondly, shout out to Nikola Tesla for having a big old brain.
I thought you were going to say a big old cock. I was like, yes, Nikola Tesla.
I'd like to know.
I mean, he invented the coil, what kind of coil?
The Tesla coil.
Tesla coil.
Oh, wink, wink,
wink,
Tesla
wink,
coil.
nudge, nudge.
I want to go to Pornhub and type in Tesla coil and see what comes up.
Oh my God, I bet there's a lot. Do you think there's like cosplay Nikola Tesla porn?
For sure. I bet there's porn where Nikola Tesla and Thomas Edison?
Yeah.
Okay. I taught a freaking lesson on it. Thomas Edison, where they're gay for each other. And that's like, they don't want to face their homosexuality, but then they do. And then it's porn.
And they like create a bunch of sexual tension by competing with each other.
They
create coils.
Their sexual interactions creates electricity.
Whoa. Okay, we have to make this porn. If anyone knows how, let me know.
Oh my God. Okay, we're so crazy.
We're so crazy.
We're so random.
Alec has a friend who's like famous on TikTok, and she makes these videos called like the girl who like thinks she's so crazy, and she's like in the grocery store like putting cookies on her head, like did you take a video of me?
Oh my gosh,
really funny. I felt like that was us just now.
Yeah, it was. Okay, speaking of crazy things, fire. So the first thing that we're going to know about fire is that fire does put itself out when it doesn't have anything else to burn. This makes sense, but also it's kind of, actually, you know what? That's not crazy. Now that I'm reading it, I'm like, that's not crazy. I wrote that this makes sense, but we also see so much of these wildfires burning uncontrollably
because they have things to burn.
Yeah, that was stupid. That was pretty stupid. But also in these spontaneous,
like, wake up, sheeple.
But wildfires.
Are they wild or are they planted?
What's their fuel? How are they burning?
We're talking all about these electric cars, but what about the wildfires?
We're educators, you guys.
I love that you guys said, I do not understand fire, and then went on to talk about like your theories about how wildfires don't have fuel.
The thing, though, is that we're relatable.
Oh my God.
I see my point now that I've read the sentence in full. The point was that in cases of spontaneous human combustion, there are plenty of things to burn. Like, how many things in our house are made out of wood? Like, a person literally sitting in a chair, but the chair doesn't burn. The things around them don't burn.
Yeah, our whole house would be burned.
Yeah, she would be crispy. So that's the first thing, is that fire burns when there's stuff to burn. Secondly, fires burn upward, and they have a tough time spreading laterally, which I actually did not know. But I just thought that it could just go wherever. Like, I'm really scared of fire, and I thought that it was just really, like, it'll get you, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I never thought about it. That makes...
Fire burns upwards. So now you know. It has a tough time going, left, right, whatever. Definitely can't go down easily.
No, because the ground is there.
Exactly. The ground or nothing. Ground or nothing. Okay. And anyway, so fires are like the crazy boss bitch that, like, she's not going to stop till she's on top. or you're dead. Like there's no lateral moves. And the internet also says that it's totally normal that a fire could burn a person, apparently, but leave the rest of the room unscathed. But
that's normal?
Yeah, it's normal due to this thing called the wick effect. And this is the leading theory for not subcutaneous, but spontaneous human combustion. Scientists have not actually landed on a theory altogether that they're all like hurraying after to explain this phenomena, but they think it is the single, possibly best reason for this phenomena. So basically, the wick effect means that the human body can be like a candle, a really bad smelling candle, but a candle nonetheless. The human body is the fuel source, specifically the body's fat, and the wick is the human's clothing. Mythbusters actually they busted this myth using a pig, and they found that the pig would burn slowly but thoroughly, like it got really hot. And fire burns up. So it made sense that we often see legs or parts of the remains kind of left behind by the fire. And do you remember how I mentioned all this like oily residue on the walls and stuff? Yeah. So that's from the fire burning the fat.
Did you say they busted the theory or so that means it's not true?
It's not true.
Oh.
They don't really have an actual reason, but it's not that.
Well, what happened when they burned the pig?
The pig just burned slowly and thoroughly and it cremated.
But that's what happens to people.
Exactly.
So they didn't bust it.
Yeah, they did bust it because all of these cases, there was something ignited near them and it only took a spark to quickly light their clothes. And then it was very easy for the fat to start burning. It was such a quick, I think it's lethal pretty quickly, but then the rest of your body just burns so hot afterwards. And again, like I'm no expert on this, so I hope this is my understanding of it. It's not that humans are just spontaneously catching fire and they're all ablaze. It's not a quick thing at all, which I think is misleading with the name of spontaneous human combustion. It's not like an explosion. It's not quick.
I'm just still confused how the pig was different from, is it because it burned slow? What?
So they basically I didn't watch the Mythbusters, but they ignited a part of a pig or like wrapped it in like fabric or something. Yeah, and it worked.
So they didn't bust it. Busted means it's not true. But you're saying that it worked.
Let me read what I wrote.
Okay.
Mythbusters, I wrote that they did bust this myth, but that might be me using the wrong words. They found that it burns slowly and thoroughly. Okay, so maybe they didn't. Well, yeah, they did bust it because the spontaneous human combustion, the belief is that
it's
humans
just like super fast.
ignite into flames.
Okay. I see.
Yes.
I'm sorry I was being so difficult. I was just trying to understand.
Oh, I'm sure there are lots of other people who are also not understanding.
So they concur that the bodies can smolder into ashes, but not that they can burst into flame without any fuel source.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that they couldn't exactly prove why or exactly how this happens.
Okay.
In all 200 cases of this, which is still an unknown. Like it's still a mystery, and we'll get to the other theories. Let me talk about the oily residue real quick. So that's the oily residue on the walls that are seen in these cases is from the fat that lifts into the air when it burns and it coats the wall.
Like a fryer hood.
Like a fryer hood.
Gross.
And the reason why the fire goes out eventually is because it's not traveling to other things in the room. The body was the main source of fuel, so it just goes out. And there's typically no oxygen left by the time the body is done burning. Okay, there was a spike for spontaneous human combustion in the 70s and 80s. There have been only 4 reported cases since 1990, and they think that the spike in cases in the 70s and 80s was because smoking was like at its peak as a habit in the 70s and 80s. And ever since then, it went down. So in a lot of these cases, it wasn't just like somebody was smoking a cigarette and they fell asleep. Like it was kind of like the perfect storm almost. Like if you were cooking earlier that day and you had like bacon fat on your clothes, that would easily ignite your clothes if you had a cigarette on your clothes. And specifically, the materials we use for clothes are different. In the 40s and 50s, polyester was like poppin', and it's highly flammable. And since the spike was in the 70s and 80s, a lot of older people were wearing clothes from the 40s and 50s. They were popular 30 years beforehand. So these people are not only wearing these highly flammable polyester clothes, but they're also the ones who are prone to experiencing spontaneous human combustion because they were older people. They were more fragile, more, easily falling asleep, and they could have also suffered a medical emergency, leaving them immobile during, experiencing a flame near them. So that is the best explanation I have for spontaneous human combustion. I have two theories that are not scientific. The first one is a man named Larry E. Arnold wrote a book in 1995 called Ablaze, and he hypothesized that some humans had an abundance of a subatomic particle called pyrotron. This is not scientific at all. Like, he just might as well have just made it up completely. I think so. And he's like, this makes spontaneous human combustion easier, especially when there's alcohol in the blood. And he was like, alcohol is just a trigger for spontaneous human combustion. And he also used pseudoscience that is widely criticized by researchers, and he just kind of like selected evidence that supported his argument that it's all been proven false, which I also kind of relate to. Kind of like, when you're in an argument and you just want to be right and win, but not when you're talking about actual, medical publications. But the wildfires, the gender reveals. And then lastly, another popular alternative theory for spontaneous human combustion involves poltergeist. A man named Michael Harrison.
Wingardium Harrison.
Spectrulo Petrolo. He wrote a book in 1976 called Fire from Heaven, in which he argues that spontaneous human combustion involves poltergeist because, quote, the force which activates poltergeist originates in and is supplied by a human being.
Oh, yes.
So where there's a human spontaneously combusting, there's a poltergeist.
There's a poltergeist.
Exactly.
So we create this combustion with our minds.
Or the poltergeist makes us create the combustion.
Yeah. Okay. I like that one. That's the one I'm going to go with.
I think there's more to it. You look into it. Everyone do your research.
Yeah.
Ghost or bacon fat. Who knows? Both of them. But yeah, just remember that only you can prevent spontaneous human combustion. My sources are Britannica, Wikipedia, Live Science, YouTube, a Joe Scott video, and anomalyinfo.com.
Great job. I feel enlightened.
I hope so. I hope I set you ablaze.
You really did. Let's hear a word from our sponsors, and seriously, stick around for this one. This is good. All right, we are so excited to tell you about our newest sponsor, Seventh Hill CBD. Seventh Hill is a farm-to-table CBD company located in Oregon, and I have been obsessed with their CBD oils lately, particularly the Unwind CBD oil. It has lavender terpenes in it that help you on top of the CBD, which already has all kinds of health benefits, makes you feel really relaxed. So it's become part of my routine, putting it in my tea every night, and I think it helps me sleep better. It is part of my ritual. It just makes me feel relaxed. It makes my tea smell nice, and I'm all about it.
If you already have your bedtime routine down to a T, then you might benefit from their Rise CBD oil. This one has citrus and pine tasting notes. So instead of giving you that kind of relaxed and sleepy feel to implement sleep, then from this one, you'll get more of an awake, aware feeling to jumpstart your day.
There's all kinds of health benefits of CBD. I put this in my tea the other day when I had a headache, and my headache was gone in 20 minutes. So CBD is kind of still a new thing, but who knows what it can do. And I've really enjoyed having it as part of my life, and we know that you will too.
Absolutely. So we have a special deal for you all. Like when I say special, I'm not messing around here. This is truly special. We have partnered with Seventh Hill to get you 20% off your order.
That is a significant discount.
How many other podcasts do you listen to? Like 20% off?
Yeah, you truly 20.
20% off.
You will not find this deal anywhere else.
All you need to do is head over to seventhhillcbd.com, and that is spelled out SEVENTH hillcbd.com, and enter the code NIGHTCLASSY, all one word, NIGHTCLASSY, to get 20% off your order of Seventh Hill CBD products.
20%.
You heard it here first. Go on.
Get yourself some relaxation.
All right, friends, we are throwing it back to our old friend Boozy Bites. You might know her as Ethel Ambrosia.
Boozy Bites are vegan gel shots in a push-up cup. They're like a push pop full of fun. It is a woman-owned company with products made for women. They are beautiful. They are elegant. You don't have to stick your finger in the gel shot. No one likes to fucking do that. You just push it right up in your mouth and they taste delicious.
Right. Also, you don't have to make them. I think that that's a big perk. Making gel shots is a whole thing, and you don't get that with Boozy Bites. They're beautiful. They're delivered right to your door. They come in all of these like vibrant colors.
Yeah, beautiful rainbow of colors. They make an incredible gift.
Not to mention their taste. So I know everyone is like getting vaccinated, hopefully. So when you have these parties, I'm sure there are lots of bachelorette parties and just parties with your friends. I think Boozy Bites is a perfect way to reunite yourself post-quarantine and celebrate.
Yeah, Boozy Bites, more like bougie bites. Put that on a table and dress up your party. They are incredible. Our favorite flavor is rosé, and if you would like to get yourself some Boozy Bites, go to boozybites.com. Use our promo code NIGHTCLASSY. That is just the name of this podcast, no spaces, for 15% off your order. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome to Miss Barnhart's room. Today, I am here to tell you about Ching Shih, the pirate queen.
Ooh, okay. I'm listening.
Yes, I'm very excited. So Ching Shih was born Shi Yang in 1775 in the province of Guangdong. Is that how you say it? Guangdong? In China. We know very, very little about her early life. We begin our history with her at 16 years old when she was working as a sex worker in a floating brothel in Canton. And it was then in 1801 that a prominent pirate by the name of Yang Zi, who commanded a fleet of very famous pirate ships called the Red Fleet, visited this brothel and took notice of Ching Shih and her beauty. What happened next is a little bit unclear. There are a couple different accounts. So the first is that he plundered the brothel and asked his men to bring him Ching Shih. The second is that Zhang Yi asked Ching Shih to marry him. He didn't kidnap her. He asked her. And she agreed on the stipulation that she would have some power in the pirate fleet, own half of his plunder. And this is maybe possible because by some accounts, she had already been like kind of like working her magic with successful pirate men, and she had a couple of ships already. So she had some bargaining tools, possibly. We're not sure. Either way, they ended up married, and they did run the Red Fleet together as a team.
I just picture this guy, if he did command some of his crew to go get her, he's like singing, somebody go get her.
She's dancing
acting
like a
pirate.
I mean, she was a stripper.
He needed the booty.
He did.
He said, are you single?
Oh, he didn't care. Before we get into this, I want to do a little bit of background on Chinese piracy, because I think when we think of pirates, at least in my case, I tend to think of like Caribbean pirates, and this is slightly different. Just in the broad sense of the term, it's the same. So pirates are people who rob ships at the sea. In the 18th century, Chinese pirates wore traditional Chinese clothes. They sailed on ships called junks. They fought mostly with traditional Chinese weapons like dao, zhong, and quang, as well as fids, daggers, muskets, and pistols. Their junks were equipped with cannons and swivel guns, just like Caribbean pirate ships, but they differed from Caribbean piracy a little bit because Caribbean piracy like badly disrupted trade. It was a big problem, whereas Chinese piracy was an embedded part of the economy for a really, really long time. There's an old Malay saying that the first ship ever built was to catch fish, but the second ship ever built was to rob it. So piracy is almost as old as seafaring itself in this part of the world. And Chinese piracy started getting really, really popular as early as the 5th century. Roman maps warn of pirates throughout the Indian Ocean. Letters written by Jewish merchants in the 12th century frequently mention pirate attacks. And Asian piracy really reached its peak and its heyday in 1750 to 1869. The region was ideal for this. It was rich and busy with a ton of trade, and all the beaches were lined with these really thick jungles, which were perfect for hiding in. Also, China was engaged in war between the Ming Dynasty and the Manchus at the end of the 16th century until 1683. And during wartime, the Chinese merchants were pissed because war was going on. It was like harder to sell goods. Everything was disrupted. So they couldn't just be merchants, and they took to the sea as pirates and smugglers. Meanwhile, Southeast Asian markets developed into thriving ports for Chinese and Japanese pirates to sell their goods. Local rulers usually encouraged this kind of business because it brought in these really affordable goods because they were stolen. They'd sell them below market value, and it brought these goods from China and Japan to Southeast Asia. So the people there were thrilled about it. And unlike European pirates, Chinese pirates usually didn't engage in ransoming merchants. Their focus was more on stealing the goods and selling it. And like I said, like they were part of a greater economic system. There was an elaborate system of financing to build ships for pirates and outfitting them with crews along the Indian coast. So there were these coastal lords who made their fortune by financing pirate ships, and they were just doing this.
It's so interesting how thieves are so scolded by society, but then pirates? Oh, you want to talk about pirates? Like, let's make a movie about the freaking pirates.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I think there's just something like grandiose about pirates.
Yeah, the ocean.
The ocean. And also, it's like pulling off a bank heist, plundering a ship. Like you suddenly acquire a shit ton of stuff. And you're just able to do this because who's going to help? Who's going to like defend themselves on the sea?
You feel like
there's
God,
no help.
Like, you run this shit.
Truly. And they really were running shit. Like, who's going to stop them?
I would like to think that I would be a pirate bitch, but I think I'm a parrot bitch. That would be my part on the ship.
You'd just be like the annoying one that just...
Hayley, want a cracker?
Life was tough as a female pirate. I'd probably be the parrot too.
Yeah,
sounds easier.
Want to escape the madness.
Yeah. Life was certainly tough. Back to like the economy, Japan's Tokugawa government, like they literally employed Chinese pirates and supplied them with military assistance. So they were funding these Chinese pirates from the government because it gave them access to Chinese goods. Pirates were also...
That's the government for you.
Right. I mentioned before how these Chinese pirates would sell things at below market value in Southeast Asia, but they were also doing that in China and Japan and all over the Indian Ocean, and became a really important asset in communities all over because they gave common people access to these goods that would otherwise be really expensive. Also, there's this monsoon wind system that made trading highly seasonal in Asia. So the way the winds worked, trade could only come from one way in part of the year and leave from one way another part of the year. And each port had designated seasons where they'd receive trade from either the east or the west. And this also made piracy a seasonal affair. On their off season, they would do other things with their boats, like shipping things legally and fishing. So it was important that communities needed these pirate ships in the off season. And Chinese piracy hit another wave of prominence from the 1820s to the 1860s. In the 1820s, pirates were engaging heavily in human trafficking. They were kidnapping people and selling them into slavery in Siam. That's pretty dark, but it was big business at the time.
What is wrong with humans?
A lot
because
of things.
From the start, it's been bad.
Yeah, it's always bad.
It's always bad. So is there good?
I haven't seen it yet, so I'm gonna say no.
Okay, just asking because
maybe someday. Let's all agree to do better
every day, a little bit at a time.
Yes. Also, there was like the Opium War from 1839 to 1842. And so, of course, like the British were a big presence in this, and there were suppression campaigns. Like they were just like shooting down ships everywhere. And this war drove up piracy because there was like all this commotion in the ocean. Pirates were doing
rhyme
things.
time.
Yes, ma'am. And so, like I said, this was a second like spike of piracy, and this time falls at the time of our protagonist, Ching Shih. So she was prime time to be a motherfucking pirate. Her and Zhang Yi were running the Red Fleet together. The Red Fleet, it started from around 200 ships when Ching Shih came on, grew to 600, and eventually it had 1,700 to 1,800 ships.
This is probably so stupid of me, but I can't even imagine making a ship now, let alone in the 1800s.
Yeah.
Let alone like there being over 1,000 of them in one fleet.
Yeah, it's crazy. And it's not like they all sailed together all the time.
Can you imagine if they did?
No.
That'd be scary.
Well, they did sometimes, and it was scary. Like this, they ran shit. Like nobody, we'll get into it, nobody could stop them. Right. What they did was they formed the Cantonese Pirate Coalition with another prominent pirate named Wu Shi'er. Basically, they brought his fleet under their wing, and any other pirate ships that wanted to join, they could. And they just had to follow the leadership of the Red Fleet, and they'd be protected and part of this like mass pirate unit. The fleet was color-coded, so the lead fleet was red. There was also white, blue, yellow, and green. This kept going, and then in 1807, just 6 years after their marriage, Zhang Yi died. And at the time of his death, they had 50 to 70,000 pirates in the Red Fleet.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
So she's the queen.
She became the queen. She was really worried that her husband's death would force her back into her old life as a sex worker, and she was not about to let that happen. Her and her husband's adopted son, Chang Pao, was set to become the leader of the Red Fleet, and she's like, I can't let him become leader and push me out. So I don't know how she did it, but she convinced him to take a step back and she took power for herself.
How old was the son? Do you know?
I think he was an adult, but like he was younger than her. And she was only, 6 years after they got, so she was only 22 at this time.
Oh, okay. I'm picturing her much older having an adopted son.
I think they adopted him as an adult, and he becomes a big part of this story in a lot of very interesting ways.
Oh, are they gonna?
Yes. So
okay, things were different back then.
it's very confusing, and none of this is very well documented.
Yeah,
So,
I can imagine.
Yeah, we have to take some context clues. But so she took power. According to legend, she assembled all the captains before her and announced, under the leadership of a man, you have all chosen to flee. We shall see how you prove yourselves under the hand of a woman. She probably didn't really say this, but it
sounds badass.
It sounds cool. They all chose to follow Ching Shih, and she was a top-notch pirate lord. Her husband had been really loud and brash, but Ching Shih was quiet and calculated. She was a great military and business strategist. One of the first things she did was take her adopted son, Chang Pao, as her husband.
That's a power/abusive move.
Yes. So in China, if you didn't have a male heir, you could adopt a grown male as your son to be the heir. And I think that may have been what this situation was. I think they adopted him as an adult because it says that Chang Pao was her husband's right-hand man. Like, he was running the ships.
It's interesting to me that they were pirates and they lived that lifestyle, but still subscribed to these traditions of like having a monarchy and having the rules around that, where you had to have a son and you could adopt a son if you wanted to, but like it couldn't be a girl.
Right.
Like all these rules that they chose what they wanted to follow and what they didn't want to.
It is interesting, and I'm not sure. I'll just skip. There's also a rumor that Chang Pao was her husband's lover, and I don't know, because they did have biological sons. So I'm not sure why they would need to adopt an adult son. I think it might have been an excuse for him to live closely with them. And if she took him as her husband right after, maybe it was like a throuple situation.
Yeah,
I'm really just spitballing. There's no
there.
evidence of this, but it seems strange. And maybe I'm just ignorant on like 18th century or 19th century Chinese culture, but
maybe if they speculated that the husband, I forget his name, was going to die soon.
Yeah, then you'd want a grown heir.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of what I was thinking, because like obviously pirate lives are you never know when you're going to die. So it would make sense to want an adult. And like if Chang Pao was already like, maybe he was already his lover, like running the ship, and he just wanted him to be his heir, so you adopted him, Maybe they didn't like their biological sons.
Man, I wish we had better documentation about now.
Me too. I don't know if Ching Shih cared for Chang Pao as a husband. It seems like she did, because they stayed together a really long time. But like whether she cared about him in a romantic way or not, this was a strategic decision. Like I said, he was already well respected. Like he was running the show alongside her husband. So she knew people would follow him. And if they were married, it would help people want to follow her. Chang Pao was also charismatic. People liked him. But he was of a common birth and was illiterate, which made him a little bit easy to manipulate for Ching Shih. So he was easy to control. People wanted to follow him. She also brought additional pirate ships under the Red Fleet banner, but all the ships, so like I was saying earlier, she would like offer random pirate ships to be part of her coalition. But this was under the agreement that they would follow a strict code of conduct under her called an ad hoc government, which basically meant that pirates on her ships were protected by laws, but they also had to pay taxes and follow rules. Any plunder seized needed to first be presented to the fleet. It would be registered before it was redistributed. And whichever ship acquired the loot was entitled to keep 20% of it, and the other 80% would be placed under the fleet's collective fund.
So they like had their own bank.
Yeah. They were doing the thing. This was like a whole like kingdom they had at sea.
I shouldn't be surprised, but still.
It's wild to think about.
I always picture pirates as like the one lone ship that is out doing their thing, and all the pirates are fighting all the other pirates, and it's just a fight. I don't know.
Yeah.
I picture very violent.
That's how I pictured it too, and I think it was that way in the Caribbean, but this was like an entire kingdom they had built on the sea where people were basically paying taxes and living under their protection and under their laws.
Wow. I would not survive. I get so seasick.
Oh my God, me too. There's absolutely no way I would jump into the ocean so fast. If you failed to turn over your loot right away, first you were beaten, and if you did it again, you were beheaded. Ching Shih put really strict rules in place regarding the treatment of prisoners, especially female prisoners. Before I move on, I want to give a quick trigger warning because I'm going to be mentioning sexual assault and rape, so just skip ahead like 1 minute if you need to. So female prisoners who were quote unquote ugly were to be released unharmed. No one was allowed to hurt them. If there was a sexy prisoner and a pirate wanted to make her his wife, he could do this. But by Ching Shih's law, he had to provide for her and remain faithful to her. Unfaithfulness and rape, which I don't think that counts as marital rape, I think it was raping a prisoner, were both punished by beheading. So you couldn't just rape prisoners.
Imagine being the girl that got let go and getting like offended. Like, you're just like all the other pirates.
Oh my God. Yikes. That'd be me though.
Yeah, I would be really offended.
Why don't you want to keep me prisoner as your wife? Am I ugly or something?
Wait, can we talk? Don't just ghost me. Oh my gosh, the original ghosting was pirating. Oh, wow. Except for instead of stealing someone in their life, it was releasing them.
Yeah, they'd maroon you. Yeah. If you had consensual sex with a female captive without permission and or marrying her, you'd be beheaded, and she would be tied to a lead weight and thrown overboard.
Oh my God, drowning? No, thank you. That's so scary.
Yeah.
Besides spontaneous human combustion, literally burning. I don't know which is worse. Would you rather burn or drown?
I'd rather drown.
I'd rather drown too.
Yeah, seems like a
So
easier
awful.
death, but still terrifying.
Yeah.
Like getting thrown overboard, I think that act would be scarier than being burnt at a stake. But then like the pain of being burnt is much worse than the pain of drowning.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Yeah.
Not that I know,
I've never
but
experienced either. There were other harsh punishments. Ching Shih had to okay all attacks before they were committed, disobey, and you're beheaded. If you left your post or took leave without permission, you were hunted down and your ears were cut off. And this is kind of sassy because you didn't need them because you weren't listening the first time.
Oh, yeah. Burn.
Yeah,
Love
burn.
it. Also, she should have, I almost said manned the ship. She should have womaned
Oh, shit.
the Titanic because they could have used some good people on post for that.
Yeah, they could have.
Do better,
Please.
is all I'm saying.
You know, she just needs to rise from the dead and man the
Rise
Titanic.
up. I wonder who is her current life. If
Ooh,
you're in
if
the
she was
past lives.
reincarnated,
Yeah.
who gives off pirate queen energy?
Meg the Stallion.
Yes, she does. I was gonna say Lady Gaga, but I think Meg is better.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Meg the Stallion, pirate queen. This is a funny one. The crew is forbidden from saying the word plunder and instead must say transferring shipment of goods because it just sounded classier. Other punishments involved flogging, quartering, and clapping in irons. There were strict laws, and Ching Shih's powerful leadership made the fleet extremely successful. They took over a lot of villages along the coast, ranging from Macau to Canton, which is about 107 kilometers. She would sometimes impose levies and taxes taxes on the villages. So in addition to her pirate ships, she had these villages paying tribute to her. She would punish those who refused her by nailing their feet to the ship's deck and beating them. And this came from a European account, so we're not sure if that's true, because of course a lot of the places we get this is very biased and paints her as more of a villain than she maybe was. But she was nicknamed the Terror of South China. So definitely a lot of people did not like her.
Imagine putting all that on your resume.
Right.
Interviewing for like another country's pirate program.
Strong management skills, strict structure, the Terror of South China.
I could improve on communication skills. That I could use some work on.
There's room for growth. Yes. She would take down anyone. So she took down Chinese, Portuguese, and British naval ships and take them over, add them to her fleet. No one could fucking stop her. The Chinese government, aka the king, is it Qing or King? Qing? I think it's King.
I unfortunately have no idea.
I don't know.
I think it's King. I'm so sorry if that's wrong. I forgot to look it up. I'm going to call it the Qing Dynasty. So the Chinese government, aka the Qing Dynasty, made one last-ditch attempt to get rid of her in 1909. They had tried and failed many times, and so they teamed up with the Portuguese Navy, and they were going to do it this time. They were going to fuck up her and her whole fleet, murder everyone, and finally be rid of her. So what they did was they sent quote-unquote suicide boats at the Red Fleet. And these were ships that were loaded with straw and explosives and then set on fire, and they were sent in to cause a bunch of damage. Instead, what happened is they killed 40 of Ching Shih's pirates out of her tens of thousands. And Ching Shih's crew extinguished the flames and incorporated them into her fleet, and she got some free ships.
Wow. Just, it's not even like she had to recover.
No.
There was nothing to recover
No.
for. I mean, 40 lives, rest in peace. But
they were pirates. Like, they signed up for this shit, you know?
You're blaming the victim?
I'm not blaming the victim, but like out of Ching Shih personally did not take a hit. Yes, the lives, yes, but I mean, it didn't hurt her.
But I mean, she's still a bad bitch. So
she's doing the thing. She heavily embarrassed the government leader who planned this mission. He was so embarrassed that he falsified documents of this quote unquote battle to make himself look better. And then he later died by suicide.
I just had a brain train, and I don't even know if this is gonna make sense, but I picture the Qing dynasty leaders being like, okay, so this is a song, okay, and they're singing it to, what is her name?
Ching Shih.
And they're like, I see you pirating and winding up in the sea. And then they talk about how they're gonna like catch her. And there's only one line so far, but you know, Akon, but different.
What? Somebody come get her. She's the terror of South China. All right.
I'm a pirate. I steal shit. I'm trying to come up with the next
I'm in my
line.
bag, but I'm in theirs too.
Oh, yes.
All right. We gotta move. So this happened. The government was freaking desperate. They're like, fighting her isn't working. She's stronger than us. And so the Qing Dynasty offered amnesty to all pirates in 1910. They're like,
uh-oh,
you're forgiven.
No one came back, did they?
Well, they were hoping that they would. So they were hoping they could be like, you're absolved of all crimes. You can just come on land. Everything will be cool. But part of the deal was that the pirates had to kneel before the Chinese government and give up all their loot. And why would you take this deal? Like, this is stupid.
Yeah, life is fine.
I know. Life is totally fine. But Ching Shih was getting old. She wanted to retire. She's like, it would be kind of sweet to just go back on land. But I'm not going to kneel because fuck that. I'm a queen. And I'm also not going to give up my money and just... what am I going to do?
It's a double no for me.
Yeah, absolutely not. So what she did, like the bad bitch she was, she marched into the office of Chinese official Zhang Bailing to negotiate. With her, she brought 17 unarmed women and children. She herself was also unarmed. And So she was ready to peacefully negotiate. And I think that she brought these women and children to have witnesses, but also appear like non-threatening. And she fucking negotiated. And as a result of the negotiations, Ching Shih was allowed to keep all her loot, which was a shit ton of money, and the Chinese government was going to give her an extra large chunk of money.
Just to stop being a pirate.
Yes.
They're like, all right, here's your 401k. Also, we just invented the 401k. Okay, do you want to live in Florida or Michigan? Because those are your two options for retirement.
Literally. She just walked in unarmed and they gave her everything she wanted and more. They also, she was like, okay, I get to keep my money, but I'm also not kneeling to the fucking government. So they came up with a little compromise. What would happen is Ching Shih would marry her adopted son, Chang Pao, in front of Zhang Bailing, the government official, in a wedding ceremony. And part of the marriage ceremony, she and her husband would kneel before Zhang Bailing in thanks for coming. And so they were kneeling in thanks for their wedding. So technically, because he's a government official, they were kneeling before China.
Okay, a little sneaky sneak.
Yeah, a little poop hole loophole, as we say.
As you say.
So this happened. She remains one of the very few pirates allowed to keep all of her stolen property, which is a big reason why she's considered one of the most successful pirates of all time. She did retire. She left her pirate life. She moved to Canton and used her riches to open a gambling house and brothel, which she ran until her death.
That seems fitting.
Yeah. She couldn't give up the manager role. She needed something fun.
Yeah, something that's definitely gonna, there's gonna be drunkards, there's gonna be some fighting, there's gonna be a little bit of scandal.
Yeah, she needed that adventure element. Meanwhile, she had also negotiated for Chang Pao to be made lieutenant of the Chinese Navy. So here he goes from a career pirate. He's put in charge of the Chinese Navy as part of their settlement deal.
Okay, I need her to negotiate my life?
Right. I need her to negotiate night classy sponsorships.
Yeah, night classy sponsorships. How about let's get my car payment down?
Okay.
I could use a house. Maybe just buy a house. Yeah, get that payment right. I don't know what else I need negotiated. I'm sure she could help me with lots of things.
I mean, I think it was a thing where she just got anything she asked for because they just wanted her to stop. She was really she was ruling the sea. Nobody could stop her, and she was stealing everything from the government.
Good for her.
Yeah, bad
Good
bitch.
For her.
Chang Pao he was put in charge of the Navy, and the first thing he did was go out and kill all of the pirates.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
All of his old rivals. So he was like, fuck you, bitches. You're all going down.
I'm a good guy now.
Yeah. I just love that he used this position to get his petty revenge.
Yeah, he remembers. Never forget.
He never forgot. The two had a son together, and Chang Pao died at the age of 36. Ching Shih lived until she was 69 in the year of 1844, and she died very wealthy and very well respected. And that's the story of our pirate queen.
Also at the age of 69, which is extraordinary.
That's a boss bitch move in itself.
Was that planned? Because it seems planned.
I think so.
Wow. What an amazing, amazing life.
Yeah.
I wish I had that type of energy, but like I said,
me too.
I'm the parrot.
She started at 16, and then at 22, she was running this shit on her own.
Right. I started driving when I was 16, and I'm still scared to drive in the rain.
Yeah.
The correlation is not there.
No,
As far
some
as-
of us are slower than others, and we're both much slower than Ching Shih. My sources are Asian Piracy by Sebastian R. Prang, pirates.fandom.com, Turbulent Waters, Sea Raiding in Early Modern Southeast Asia by Robert J. Anthony, AncientOrigins.net, HistoryCollection.com, and RejectedPrincesses.com. And that was my learning journey.
I loved hearing your sources. Rejected Princesses.
That is a cool website. It's made for children, but like it talks about like all the like badass like women in history.
I need more of those websites in my life.
It's really cool. I actually got like a lot of information from that one. So shout out to rejectedprincesses.com. And shout out to you guys for listening to our episode. If you enjoyed this, please rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts. Think about joining our Patreon, support the sponsors who support us, and possibly most importantly, tell a friend about our podcast. That's the best way to spread the word. Thank you so much for listening. And 3, 2, 1, class dismissed.